Hey guys, welcome to another episode review for Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. This time we're going to be looking at Episode 4, Unfinished Business. Unfinished Business takes place after the events of the previous episode, focusing yet again on Anakin, Rex, Echo, and the Bad Batch as they plan an attack on the Techno Union and Admiral Trench. And overall, this episode was a really fun episode, if not a little tiring and just a little disappointing, especially after episode 2, which I think is still the best episode that this season has had so far. However, I can say that there are some great moments hidden throughout this episode, and it's a very entertaining episode. But I do have to admit that I'm a little tired and burnt out on this storyline so far, because this is the fourth episode that we have focused on the story of Echo, Rex, and the Bad Batch, and at this point I just kind of want to get to something else, and this storyline just keeps getting in the way. I'm like, how much can we continue this storyline? But there are some great things here along the way. I do like in this episode, yet again, the Bad Batch and the dynamic between them, Rex, and also Echo, who joins the team through this episode. And also, I liked some of the Jedi action in this episode that we get a lot more of with Mace Windu and Obi-Wan, who is kind of a minor character in this episode. Mace Windu has a really awesome moment where he tries to come to terms with the battle droids, basically saying that, throughout the Clone War, he has destroyed many battle droids, and he's like, listen, you could just, come to our side, we'll reprogram you, all that stuff. And they just don't have any of it and just fire at him. It's a lot of fun. There's some great space battle action, and it's just a fun episode with some great moments throughout. There's also this moment near the very end that I'm pretty sure everybody is talking about, where we get a little bit more of Anakin's turn to the dark side as he goes down into his darker, more emotional moments as he fights with Admiral Trench, and we see that anger come out in him. And I think that was a really good moment for Anakin's character and his eventual turn to the dark side. I also really liked the ending of this episode. Going into a little bit of spoilers, I do like the ending of this episode where Echo decides to leave Rex and join the Bad Batch, as he has kind of found a place where he sort of fits in because he has now changed. He's a little bit different. He's almost half droid. I mean, he has a arm piece that basically works as a hacking tool, much like with R2-D2. And I think that's a really interesting choice, and it's a very emotional moment that is really good. However, I don't know if it's fully earned, and this is where some of my problems come in with this episode, and it all has to do with timing and the amount of time these episodes have to tell a story. All these episodes are around 22 minutes, and being on a streaming service, I feel like this could be, 25 minutes or 30 minutes even to tell a cohesive story that has a lot more meat to it, because I think many of my problems with this episode would be fixed if they didn't feel rushed and we had more time to develop, such as with Echo's change from going with Rex to going with the Bad Batch. How could we see that transition throughout the episode? Because it feels kind of tacked on at the end. And then there's also this moment at the beginning that kind of bothered me, because they're like, Echo has just been through a traumatic event, and yet they put him right back into the front lines with the Bad Batch and with Rex and all that, and it just felt odd to me. It felt like there was like a scene missing or an episode missing where we could have seen him grow a little bit more stronger, and prepare himself for the battlefield once again. But that's kind of a nitpick in a way, because it doesn't overall ruin my enjoyment of this episode, which I can say was a lot of fun. The Jedi action was great, the space battles, the dynamics between the characters, yet again, Anakin's darker side reaching out, and the ending of this episode all came together to make a fun episode, but it's just not there with like how much I loved the second episode of this season. I think there's plenty of things that hold this episode back, but overall, it's an episode that I can say I really enjoyed, and at this point, I'm just kind of tired of this storyline, and I am glad that we are going to be moving forward into the next episode with something else. I hope. I hope there is something new with a different storyline at this point, because I feel like we've kind of seen everything we've needed to see with this storyline in the Bad Batch, and I don't know what else you could really do. But yeah, that's just my opinion. With all that said, I'm going to give episode 4, Unfinished Business, a 7 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and did you guys enjoy this episode? Tell me in the comment section below, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.